All right, so let's talk about scripts and let's talk about role play and let's make sure we all get something out of this today that we can go and we can apply to our business. So there's a couple of things that we can talk about, and why don't we just take a little vote and see what the whole group wants to talk about, okay? So number one, that's very vital in today's market is setting the buyer's consultation, getting them to meet with you face-to-face to show their motivation level and weeding out the ones that are just gonna be a headache and a waste of time. So we could talk about the transition to booking the buyer's consultation appointment. Another hot topic that I see here, right, is getting your buyers off the fence, right? Is this a good time to buy? Is like something that I'm seeing. And then also getting them to come correct with the offers that they are putting out, right? Like if there's a competitive market, not submitting lowball offers or non-aggressive motivated offers. So those are the two things that I see right now in the market that I see that most agents are struggling with. And if someone has a third that they would like to throw into the arena, we could vote on that. And then we'll kind of practice that script today. So if you guys would like to start with, booking the buyer's consultation, how to go about doing that, just say something, say hi, let me know who would like to work on that.
I'm for that.
Okay.
I would like some help with that too.
Okay, so we got two. Anyone else?
I'd like the buyer's consultation. The only reason why I would say the buyer's consultation over the intro is just because I feel like, for me at least, if I'm like, when you know the ins and outs of the market, you know the buyer's consultation, I feel like that gives me more confidence when I'm having conversations with the leads, if that makes sense.
Definitely. Anybody else have a vote? George, what do you want to hear today?
I was more for the second one, but the first one's fine.
Okay. So let's start out with the first one. And if we have time today, then we'll go into the second one as well.
Oh, you know what else, Jordan? I'm sorry to butt in. When you had said the third item, why people are kind of hesitant about buying, I think it's that interest rate situation. And lately, what I've been trying to do is tell them, yes, I understand that the interest rate is high. However, that doesn't mean that it's a bad time to buy a house, because when the interest rate goes lower to like 4%, you get like 10, 15 offers on a home, and then it's harder for you to purchase that home. So I kind of say that to maybe make them hopefully buy sooner than later.
Yeah, that's a great point. So remind me, we're going to do both today. I'll breeze through both of them. Hopefully not too fast where we can get in depth on both, but we'll cover both. So let's talk about the first one. You guys are having a good conversation with the online lead. They've given you their time frame. They've given you the purchase or the price range that they want to be in. And they also gave you the location. If that happens, normally we should try and meet with them face to face, even if they're a little bit out. Even if they're telling you they're a year out, the first agent to meet face to face is the first agent that's going to win that client over. So how, after you have a good conversation, you ask them the location, the price range, and the time frame, how do you get them to take the next step, which is to meet with you? And what I'm going to give you is a very simple line. It's probably something you possibly heard from me before, but we need to start putting this or practicing this so we can put this in game time situations. And a game time situation is going to be when you're interacting with the lead or your client. So if I got that lead and I want them to take the next steps, or I'm trying to propose that we should sit down and discuss this in more detail, what I'm going to say is, hey, Andre, typically in this situation, what we normally do is we normally sit down with our clients for about 15 to 20 minutes to break down the process, or to break down the home buying process from start to finish, so you really know what to expect. Also, we'll go into the current market and how that could affect you. And last but certainly not least, Andre, what we're really going to do is we're going to do a deep dive and a look into what that dream home looks like for you, really hone in all the details and the features, make sure we're on the same page. So when that home does come up, we're ready to go and we can make it happen for you. What day and what time this week works best for you? I'm going to say it one more time. And also, I'm not sleazy. I'm not salesman. Does Tuesday at 5:30 work best for you? Or does Thursday at 6 work better? We need to get the slimy salesness out of us. And if we articulate ourselves, if we do what we need to do, and we make it seem like we're just there to help, we won't have a problem locking that appointment in. So, one more time. If I want someone to take the next steps, they give me their price range, they give me their location, they give me essentially everything that I need. The next thing I'm going to say is, hey, Andre, or hey, Olivia. Typically in this situation, what we do is we sit down with our clients for about 15 to 20 minutes. We'll go through the home buying process from start to finish, so you know exactly what to expect. We'll go into the current market and really how that can affect you. And last but certainly not least, Olivia, what we're really going to do is we're going to take a deep dive into that dream home that you're looking for. Make sure we got all the features down and everything that we need so that when that home does come up, that dream home does come up, we're ready to go and we can go ahead and make that happen for you. So what day and what time this week works best for you? Now, any concerns, any questions, any feedback on that line or how to deliver it or anything like that?
No, the only thing I would say is I think that was great. For me, my opening line would have just been like, so it sounds like the next step to take is, the next steps is for us to sit down, and then everything else you said, I think it makes sense because if they're giving you your price range, they're giving you your time, first of all, they're staying on the phone with you guys, they're engaged. They're giving you everything outside of all the key indicators of what they're wanting to do. Everything, it just, the appointment makes sense. And like Jordan said, it is just asking them what day and time they're available and not having that more sleazy or slimy sales approach and coming from a place of service. So I like that. I would just, for me, preference wise, the opening line, I would just say, well, then it sounds like the next steps are, and just lead into everything that you said. So I like it all.
Nice. Now, Andrea,
Yes.
how would you feel utilizing like a script like that to buyers? Is that something that would be comfortable?
I think I think that would work. I've had through the calls, I've had actually a few of them that are kind of on the fence, and I think in listening to what you said, I think what I was saying to them was a little too short, and I didn't cut them off, but I didn't go into enough detail. So this is a wealth of information for me.
Well, I appreciate that. One thing I want to really highlight, guys, if you try telling them, hey, the next step is to sit down with me for a buyer's consultation, nobody's going to do that. Nobody is just going to be like, oh, buyer's consultation? Yeah, I should do that. We have to add value, and we have to have those three things that build up the value. However your opening line needs to be, it's the three value optimizers that we really need to go deep into. And that is, we're going to go through the home buying process from start to finish. We're going to go over the current market and how that affects you. And last but not least, we're going to dive into your exact home, make sure we hear you throughout, that we lock every feature in that you need, so we know exactly what home you're looking for, so when it comes up, we can make it happen for you. You have to be able to build up the buyer's consultation in a way where they would want to go to the buyer's consultation. And that is the main key in this line, is giving them enough value where they're like, oh, that makes sense. I want to buy a home. I need to know what to expect, so I need the home buying process broken down to me. I keep hearing high interest rates and everything in the news and the media, and I'm scared. But this agent's going to kind of break that down and tell me, the truth and what I need to know behind that. And the third thing is, I want them to know exactly what kind of home I want, so when it comes up, I can get it. So yeah, I guess all these things make sense. I guess I should meet with them. It's a little bit sooner than I realized, but what they're saying makes sense. So remember, guys, it's the three value optimizers. Write them down, breaking the process down from start to finish so you know what to expect. Diving or breaking down the current market and how it affects you. And number 3, diving in deep to find out exactly what you're looking for. So when it comes up, I can provide that. So I know we just gave the line. Does anybody want to role play that? Do we want to practice that for a week and come back? Where are you guys at with that? Does anybody want to role play that line?
I'll try it.
Okay. So I'll be your
I
buyer
will
whenever
also-
you're ready, George.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I will also try it as well.
Awesome. I like it. So
I'll
George,
go as well, I
then
guess.
Olivia.
Okay.
Awesome. A lot of peer pressure. I like it. So we'll go George, we'll go Olivia, and we'll go Andrea. I just gave you the location, the price, and everything, George. It's time to try and lock in an appointment. Go ahead.
Just writing this down real quick. What's the last one? What was the third point? I'm sorry.
We're going to dive in deep into
Mhm.
the exact home that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes up, we'll be ready to go and we can make that happen for you.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Buyer. So I think our next step is for us to go ahead and schedule an appointment. That way I could break down the home buying process for you from A to Z, as well as letting you know what the market's doing right now and how it'll affect you. And that way you have a chance to also tell me exactly what you're looking for. So when it pops up on the market, we're ready to bounce on it and you're ready to go ahead and put an offer in. Does that sound fair?
That sounded really good, George. That sounded like something you didn't just hear today. The only constructive feedback that I would give, and that was pretty close to being flawless, is the opening line, right? When you say the next steps are, if, everyone personality type is different, right? And everyone is open to different type of authoritative approaches. But some people will take that, in my opinion, as too authoritative. So I think what you should try to do is try to ease it up a little bit and just make it seem like more normal. Not that this is the next step, but like normally this is what happens. So like, and for instance, George, that wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad. It worked for most buyers, but I would just tweak this part is, hey, normally, or hey, George, normally, or typically what we do, hey, George, normally what we do in this situation, then they kind of feel like almost like they have to, because motivated buyers do this. Why aren't I doing that? If George is telling me this is what everyone else does, why am I not doing that? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So good, really good, man. Really, really good. Keep working on that. And like I said, when these leads start to pop off, you'll book a lot of appointments with that.
Okay.
Olivia, I know you're next. So whenever you're ready, I just gave you the price range, location, and my time frame. Go ahead and try and book the appointment.
Okay, Mr. Buyer, I appreciate you giving me this information and taking the time out of your day to really talk to me. And I think that I'd like to get some more information from you if we could possibly do this. The next steps would be for you to tell me, what exactly you want. And I think booking an appointment would be a good idea so that I could break it down, like the home buying process from A to Z. I think that, we could figure out what the market is doing and how exactly that would affect you and what you should expect.
I like it. Now, the only thing that I will say, Olivia, and it's complete contrast from George, so I'm really glad that we were able to get both of you guys back to back, is when George went, right, he was maybe a little bit too authoritative, right? He was a little bit too much of a driver. Like, hey, hey, next steps are, this is the way that we need to go. With you were too unauthoritative, if that makes sense. Like, you're a very nice person, right? Like, you want, like, meeting you, and I'm the same way. I want everyone to like me. I don't want to ruffle any feathers, and I don't want to put any pressure on anybody or come across salesy in any way. But sometimes when you come across that way, you come across as unauthoritative, being able to influence someone and really striking that confidence. So moving forward as you practice, I'd like for you to guide them through the steps a little bit cleaner. And what that means is, right, is normally the next step is, here's the 3 benefits that we'll do. Are you open to it? And if they say no to that, Olivia, that's not anything to do with your confidence. That's not an ego hit. That's not that you didn't do a good job. It's just that it's not the right time. But when you're going through your script, like I said, that guidance, that authority, that, hey, normally this is what we do. This is what I'd like to set up for you. It got kind of a little bit lost, if you will. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I haven't had much luck. I mean, last Friday and even like Monday, calling people, like they just would not answer the phone. And I mean, I had a guy hang up on me too. So it's like, I don't know. I mean,
It's okay,
I go by,
Olivia. It's okay. It happens all the time.
like,
Yes, it does.
normal. That's normal. Just keep calling.
like
Yeah.
I've
Andrea.
been going by the
Yes.
script, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like people are just like, oh my God, like it's a salesman calling me.
You'll get used to it.
And you have that inner voice saying, "Oh Jesus," right?
Absolutely. I'm like,
It's okay.
oh my gosh.
I did the same thing. Just go for it. It's okay.
Yeah. So Olivia, I appreciate the vulnerability. I really do, because it's scary to kind of like admit where you're feeling. But Andrea Fopiano is a really good example to use, and I'm so glad she's on this. When Andrea Fopiano first started making phone calls, Andrea, were you very good?
Well, no, and I'm still
And did you
not
get
great.
did you get hung up a lot? Did you get hung up on a lot?
I did, but you know,
Did you get
it's
much
okay.
traction?
What's that? No, and it made me stronger. So
So let me ask you this question. When you finally did build up your skill set though,
yeah,
right? And it was a struggle, right? Calling
Sure
was
it was.
something you've never done. For perspective, Olivia, she comes from a teaching background, never done sales, never done calling, never did any of that. But Andrea was so ridiculously had ridiculous tenacity when it came to building up her skill set. And now when I listen on Andrea's phone calls, and like I led the call today, I hear a lot of like, oh, I see your agent Andrea hustling, or I see she's writing offers as a school teacher full time and writing cash offers on her free time. And Olivia, when you're not confident, the person on the other end, they can feel that. And when you're questioning yourself and you're thinking about what to say, it makes it really hard to connect with them. But when Andrea got her scripts down and she got beat up a little bit, and she kept getting back up, now when she gets on the phone, I don't think there's a lick of nervousness. I don't think there's a lick of not being confident. And I see her having so much better results. So you can't expect to be really great at something when you haven't put in a great effort. Like if we took you to a gymnast class and we started having you do gymnastics right now, unless you've done that your whole life, Olivia, I don't think you're going to be very good. But we shouldn't base, how we feel based on those moments. Give yourself 3 months. And after 3 months, you still feel like you're in the same situation, then maybe we need to make some tweaks. But I think if you just show up day in and day out, like Andrea did, like Andre did, like George has done, I think sooner or later, you're going to realize that you have a great gift that can help them. And by getting with a real estate agent that doesn't care and doesn't have the same standards as you, will put them in a really compromising position. So by you being aggressive on calling, you can be the difference maker. You can get to them before they get with a shady or a bad real estate agent, and you can put a really good stamp on their home buying experience. But that's not the case for all agents. A lot of agents get with a bad real estate agent, and it's a terrible experience. So if you're mission driven and you're here for a purpose, make sure that everyone gets with you because you know your heart's in the right place. And with your standards, you'll provide a great job. And if you look at it like that, more so than you're going to get rejected, I think it will start to move the needle forward for you. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
But as you can hear from everyone, we're in this together. You're not the only one who has felt that way. Moving on to Andrea.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, Andrea.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
All right. Hi, Mr. Buyer. Now that we've talked a little bit, I would really like to get together with you. I think it'd be just a really great idea so that we could go over the home buying purchase from A to Z, start to finish. And at that time, I could let you know how the market will affect you. And now that I know what kind of homes you are interested in, then I can really go forth and find you a home that you really like. How about tomorrow or the next day? Are you available then?
So I thought that was good, Andrea, a good foundation. The only thing is, in the opening line, you said, I would really like.
Okay.
I would really like to get together. And so one thing I know from buyer behavior, they don't really care what you like, and they don't really care about you at all. So when we speak to them, we want to make it all about them. And we almost want them to really want to meet with you, right?
Okay.
So just like George, just like slightly with Olivia, we want to be very precise in our wording and our scripts, especially in the opening, because we only have so much time to make a connection. And if we don't make a connection, we all know what the end result of that is they're going to hang up the phone. They're going to hang up on us. So if you're getting hung up on, that means your skill set or you're not connecting during the small window you have. And so once again, typically in this situation, what we do, normally the next step is blank, making them feel like everyone you talk to that gets to their point, the next step for them is to do this, and here is why. So they really want to meet with you instead of you really wanting to meet with them. Does that make sense, Andrea?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So little tweaks, guys, like I said, good understanding of the script. And
I'll go
small
ahead and give it a shot
hinges-
too, Jordan.
What's that?
I said I'll give it. I didn't mean to cut you off. I want to go ahead and do it as well. But continue what you were saying.
Small hinges open big doors. So, right, you guys all have a good understanding of it. Practice it. Get these little nuances down and watch the impact it will have. It's not about just me telling you the script one time and you guys trying to go perfect it like from there. It's like me giving you the script. You guys go seek out a role play partner. You guys find someone to role play with around your skill level. You role play this all week until it becomes second nature to you. That's when these scripts start to make a difference in game time situations when you're with your clients. So like I said, guys, it's not about having it perfect right here. It's about getting the nuances, saying it, practicing it in front of everyone so we can break you apart, and taking those little notes and applying those in your day-to-day role plays with other members on the team until you memorize it, until you perfect it. And that's when it's going to make a change in your business, but not until then. So Andre, location, price range, time frame has been given. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Hey, Jordan, thank you so much for letting me know all that information. It really helps me kind of identify a little bit more what you're looking for. So normally in this situation, Jordan, the next steps would be for us to really sit down, for me to really go into the home buying process with you from A to Z with such a big decision, educate you on the market. You know, what are things that you're going to need to know, Jordan, to become a homeowner and be successful in the home buying process. And the last thing is to really take a deep dive into what your ideal home looks like. That way, when I'm out searching for homes and I see the right home pop up, you know, we won't waste any time and we can really get you in the door. So you tell me, man, when are you typically available during the week?
I like it. I don't have much tweaks to make to it. But that was pretty good. In the beginning, I was like slightly choppy for a second, but other than that, I thought it was pretty flawless.
I was torn. Thank you. I was torn between like the next steps or typically in this situation. I like both of them. I really do like both of them because I think typically, whichever way you look at it, because I understand the authoritative part, but I had to put my Portuguese twist on it, as you know. That's just how I am.
It's all good. It flowed. All right. So there was a second topic that people wanted to talk about, and that was if let's say you're looking at a home that's 550,000, and let's say the home is probably going to go up to 575, right? Like, let's say it's going to get bid up to 575. You talk to the agent, there's a couple offers, and your client wants to make an offer, and it's the first offer they make. And so obviously they're scared, they're hesitant, they're all that. And they tell you, hey, look, I just want to offer the list price. Like, I just want to come in at 550. Well, you know that's not going to get it done. Like, you know what kind of market it is. You're watching that in this small first-time home buyer price range that you're seeing a lot of these homes get bid up and sell for over. So you know it's not going to get done. Plus, you already know there's other offers on the property. And very rarely, if ever, do you get multiple offers in the home sales for asking or under, right? So what would you say? And what I would say is something along the lines of, hey, Mrs. Buyer, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you know, if you knew that this home that's selling right now for 550,000, that the next time something similar comes on the market, that it will sell for 575,000 or potentially up to 600,000, what would you do and how would you feel about that? So what would you do and how would you feel about that? The reason why we use both is if we're dealing with an analytical client, what would you do about that? They would take action. They're all about the numbers. If it's not an analytical client, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be emotional. So how would you feel about that? We want to paint the pain no matter who the buyer type is that we're dealing with. Now we listen to them to say the pain, what they would do, or how they would feel about it. And in this situation, what they would do is they would be forced to like back out of the home buying market because they're at the top of their price range. That home prices are going to get too expensive. Or it could be a number of things, right? Of how they're feeling or what would they do. And the end line to that is, well, why don't we go ahead and eliminate all that right now by you becoming the winner in this scenario. And everyone's turning and looking at you like you got the good deal because everything else around you is going up. So I'm going to repeat that one more time. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, what if you knew that this home right now that's selling for 550,000, that next time something similar came on the market, that it would get listed at 575 or potentially as high as 600,000. If that was the case, what would you do about that and how would you feel about that? Well, why don't we go ahead and eliminate that right now by becoming the winners and having everyone else turning and looking at you like you got the good deal because everything else around you is going up. Any feedback, any questions, any concerns?
No.
Nothing?
I had a question.
Okay.
What if they still say like, no, like interest rates are way too high right now and I'm really not interested in doing that at the moment? Like, what should your response be?
So a couple of things. What we're hoping for, Olivia, is when you meet the buyer in your office for a buyer's consultation, it's going to eliminate all of that. That any interest rates before you go take them to see a property or anything, any of that is going to be eliminated. But let's say that is not the case and you are there. From here on out, each agent that shows a property is going to take with them the 3 most recent comparable sales in the neighborhood. They're going to bring a chart that shows over the last 100 years that 93 years of those, or we're going to show a graph that shows high real estate appreciation and that it's always going up. And the third one is we're going to have a buyer's consultation that we could send in directly. Now, Olivia, when you give them that much information, if they are truly motivated and they can see that in the last 100 years, only 3 years, the market didn't appreciate, and 93 years it did, 1 year it stayed neutral, then they're going to have a lot more confidence. But if they still say no, they're not motivated and they're not ready to go, And there's literally nothing we can say to them other than stop giving them so much of our time, especially showing them homes if they're not comfortable with the high interest rates. At that point, it'd be probably time to back off and work with another client. Now, the only other solution that I could think of, Olivia, is there is a program called a 3-2-1 buyer program. It has to be paid for by the seller, so we'd have to find a home that had a lot of days on market. But we can negotiate a seller credit and they can pay for a loan buy down where your clients will, on the first year, will get the interest rate 3% lower. So if it was 6%, they would get a 3% interest rate. The next year, it'd go up to 4%. And then the following year, it'd go up to 5%. And once the 3 years were over, it'd go down to a 6%. But if buyers have confidence that the market, the interest rates are going to go down, then they can get the low interest rates they want, take advantage of that, get it at a great price. And then when the home prices go up and the interest rates drop, they could do a refinance if they're confident in that approach. So the two things you could do is drop them because they're not motivated, they're not ready. Or number two, offer the 3-2-1 buy down. And then if they don't want that, then there's really no options for them.
I also had another one, Jordan, if you're okay with me interjecting.
Yeah, go ahead.
With the interest rates. So big thing with the interest rates, right? We get that all the time. Another thing that you can do is say, hey, you know what, Olivia, it's really common that people, talk about the interest rates being so high, but really they're not concerned with the interest rates as much as they're concerned with the monthly payment. So if the monthly payment, you're comfortable with that $575 on this house, how would you feel about that? Would that change your mind?
So yeah, Olivia, that's another one that you could use. And then, like I said, if they're giving you the interest rate and you're already showing them homes, very rarely do I see those buyers come around and still purchase a home, at least in that time frame. So like I said, you trust your gut, you do what's best, but you should only be working with motivated clients who are ready to go. And then anyone who's not, you'll still take care of them. You'll let them know, hey, I understand the concern with the interest rates. Why don't we wait for the interest rates to drop, or why don't we keep an eye on them? And it doesn't make sense to keep looking at homes or pushing the envelope if you're not comfortable. And when things die down a little bit and things calm down a little bit, maybe we can explore it then. And you just keep following up with them until they're ready to go. Any other questions, any other concerns, any other feedback?
No, I think you hit the hammer on the nail. Like Jordan said, when we do the buyer's consultation, we're not going to get, we won't get these. So we're just pre-screening all that information. So that's what I will add. And it just kind of alludes to Jordan's point, obviously why the buyer's consultation is so important, because we probably won't have some of these conversations really, because we'll be able to kind of screen them through the initial buyer's consultation.
Yeah. And it's all about the skilled agent in this market. If you're not making money, you need to build up your skills. And the reason why I say that is the media is doing so much to slow the market down, to slow everything down. Look at what's happening with Bud Light. You look at what's happening with Target. Now, I'm not talking about getting into political ramifications and what the agendas are and all that, but everything is being slown around us. And the market's scary. The market's scary for a lot of these clients, rightfully so. If you were not in real estate, if you didn't have me coaching or whoever else has been mentoring you and coaching you, you would be pretty scared too. But it's not as scary as it's being portrayed. And we need to be able to articulate ourselves and clearly articulate our message, right? And that's what we're doing today, right? There's buyers on the fence that need that extra little push to get into the game. Whether if they're giving you a price range, location, and a time frame, they're strongly considering that it's time for them to meet with an expert. If they're out taking a look at properties and they don't want to write an offer because they're scared, if we don't guide them, the market could go up, preventing them from ever purchasing. So we're not doing things that are that are malicious, that are just giving us a paycheck and putting the client in a bad situation. I would never recommend that. But when there is resistance, sometimes they need a little bit of guidance, and knowing how to guide them is what we're going over today. And the better you are at guiding your clients during choppy waters, the better captain you're going to be. And the better captain you are, the more income you're going to make. Right? You know, if you're known as a really good captain and someone has a high-end cruise ship, they want the best captains. They want to keep that ship intact. They want to keep the people safe. They want it to be a smooth ride. Same thing for you guys. If you learn how to guide these buyers, they're looking for a captain that can guide them through rough waters. And they don't know how to do that themselves. And you have a license and you were paid to do so. So it's our obligation to make sure they don't get in their own way. And the ones who can do that will convert like a madman. The ones that can't, they're too authoritative or not authoritative enough, or don't have confidence when they speak. Those aren't attributes or personal characteristic types that make people want to follow you. Look at great leaders, captains of ships, presidents of countries, whether you believe in them or not. We need to start applying leadership so we can lead these buyers to home ownership. So that's pretty much all I got for today. We do have a couple of minutes on here. If someone has something they want to discuss quickly. If not, we'll break out of here and we'll get on with our day.
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you use Mojo Dialer? Like, do you use that one?
So for me, I don't use Mojo. For me, everything that I operate with is through Sierra Interactive, from the dialer, from everything. Now, if you wanted to use Mojo, that's more for like prospecting, that's more for like cold calling, that really wouldn't be working your leads. You would use the Sierra dialer to work your leads. And if you're confused on maybe how to go about that, schedule some one-on-one time with Claire, and she'll walk you through exactly how to do so.
No, I know it's for like prospecting and cold calling. I just was wondering like if there is a particular like script or something that you should use, or like what you should say to sellers when you're first talking to them.
Yes, great point. I appreciate you clarifying that. Yeah, the script that I use is, hey, this is Jordan Camara with eXp Realty. I'm a local real estate agent in the market, and I just had a really quick, or I just give you a really quick call in regards to your home on whatever the address is. And then I say, hey, I just had to call and ask, how in the world did that home not sell? So once again, hi, my name is Jordan Camara. I'm a local realtor, or hi, my name is Jordan Camara. I work with eXp Realty. I'm a local realtor in the area. And I just wanted to give you a really quick call. I just had to call and ask, Olivia, how in the world did that home not sell? Now, the reason why I do that, Olivia, is because they'll always feel the need to defend their. So instead of all the bullshit on the phone call, they'll tell you right away why their home didn't sell. They'll blame the agent, which is a home run for you, because usually they'll just want to switch agents and get a new one. They will let you know they're making repairs. They will let you know they had a tenant in the house. Whatever kept the home from selling, they'll usually try and defend that. Versus if you do what everyone else is doing, and they go, hey, this is Jordan Camara. I work with eXp Realty. I'm a local real estate agent. Hey, I was just calling to see when you're going to interview the right agent for the job to get your home sold. Or, hey, were you still interested in getting the home sold? If they say no, there's nowhere you can go. But when you say, how in the world did that home not sell? They won't ever say no. They'll tell you why the home didn't sell. And then you just go through your conversation from there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And once you get your intro line, we'll work on what goes after that in the scripts, right? We'll want to know if they had any showings, if they had any offers, if the agent provided any feedback on why the home didn't sell. There'll be some questions that we'll add after that, but focus on that intro line, see how it does for you. But really, Olivia, where I see most agents make the breakthrough with us the quickest is through Sierra Interactive and the online leads that we're collecting. All right, guys. Well, hey, I really appreciate you guys all showing up today and getting better. If I could help, let me know. And I'll see you guys all next week if I don't see you sooner.
Thanks, Jordan.
Peace. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
No problem. Take care, guys.